Hi guys, so today I want to try out the Belle Countryside. You guys know I love the papers, mostly. There's some of the items that come in this larger bundle I got through HSN. I'll have some different links in the description box, HSN, Craft Stash. Those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items through those links. I don't know when I'm going to upload this video because I had to get them kind of ready for the weekend. With Halloween and everything else, I know I'm busy over the weekend, but I know Craft Stash does have some interesting bundles where it's like the flower or this paper and the Belle Countryside paper, like the paper packs, plus like a couple other things like the stencil, I think, and maybe the die. I can't remember exactly what. For a pretty great price, and HSN has like the paper packs by themselves, where it's the paper pack plus the just like this kind of cardstock pack. This is the flower forming, and I've already unboxed this basically, so we've talked about what's in this huge kit. But again, Craft Stash just has a ton of different ways to pick it up, or piecemeal it, however it is. But I'll have links for all those different things in the description box down here. But today, I've already made quite a few videos this morning, and I want to get to this because I want to play with this paper, but I don't want to make flowers today, so I'm not going to do flower forming today, but I will get to it. Very interesting. I think when Sarah previewed it or demoed it, as you can see here with Craft's Companion, these are just kind of sticking up here. I can't tell if this is paper or if it's the actual flower forming foam, which as you can see in here we have pinks and green, and this was kind of like a beige color, and she even did that, and it still looked floppy, so it might be that, it's from a different pack. But she didn't heat it up, because if you heat this up, it's going to get all crunchy and weird. But what I was thinking is maybe roll it and then heat it up if you want. And sometimes I'll just hit it with a heat tool instead of putting it against, what's it called? An iron. And that works. So that might be more of a controlled way to do it. So do it while it's still flat. Roll it up, Then hit it with a heat tool and let it do some fun things. I think that might be pretty. But the flowers were real straightforward because they just kind of crumple up in a circle kind of cup form anyway. Just cutting them out and just, putting them against the iron or using your heat tool. So really easy set to work with, it seems. But there was an example on Craft Stash that I kind of want to try and replicate today. I think they use the flowers, which, like I said, I'm not really digging on doing today. But I'm going to use this. So it's interesting. I've been wanting to use that die. I don't think I'm going to use any of these. I might use the sentiment from somewhere in here. And then I went to my stash and I was like, do I have flowers I can pop on here to give it some dimension that might match? And I saw this kit, Thankfulness Floral Stickers from Anna Griffin. I don't know if I've ever used these, but I've opened this up. And some of these soft colors are very similar, so maybe this is what I'll use for the flower part of it. Kind of with this idea that I had seen on Craft Stash. So let's put that to the side. Oh, of course, I told myself I was going to grab some paper, and I didn't. Oh, no, actually, you know what? We're going to use... So I have, this pearlescent paper from Craft's Companion, which I can definitely use. I mean, obviously, the color works, right? And then we're going to do some matte layers with this. Or I was thinking about using this for the card base, but I guess I'm not going to. I'm going to use this one. And this die, if you look at it, it's 6.2 by 3 inches. And they had a card idea that had, a flap here, but then this sticking out on the edge, because this is pretty big. You might, add it as an accent piece within the card. I just want to use it a different way, and I thought, oh, you know what? That was a nice example, like I said, on Craft Stash. So they had some different examples than, what they showed on HSN. So we have this piece. It has, this little, lattice work or lace work, and then it has all this prettiness. So I was like, well, what would the measurements be for that to look right and still put it in an envelope and still have enough to kind of open up without it just being this tiny little flap here? So I'm thinking a 6-inch card, not 6-inch square though, because I don't want to do that. Or do I want to do that? Oh, I do want to do that. Okay, so 6 inches tall. This is an A4 size paper. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to cut it to 6 inches, and then we'll make up the other parts of it. So again, I have no idea how they exacted this card that I saw, but I'm curious, so I'm going to try it. So I want it to be, again, still something I can put in an envelope, and we have 6-inch square envelopes from everywhere but Craft's Companion. I was thinking 5 by 7 might work, but okay, 6 inches tall. This is still going to stick out a little bit, but not really. See, it's going to be right on that edge. And then we want this to come in, this should be a 6, so 9 inches. I'm going to say 9 inches. And I'm going to say, yeah, just a little bit. Let's do 9 inches. That way we can score it right at 3 inches. What I'm trying to show you is that this is almost 3 inches deep, right? It was 2.9. So that'll work. 9 inches. Okay, this will make sense in just a minute. This is the card base, and this is how I'm going to exact it, and hopefully it works out. 6 by 9. On this side, I'm going to score it at 3. Sorry, at 3 inches, basically. And what's going to happen is this is going to fold over. Actually, I'm going to fold it this way. It doesn't matter. I just, I don't know. Sometimes one side of the paper looks nicer than the other. Maybe it's just me. So you have this little flap, and this is what's essentially going to be your card, because this part is just going to be cut away. But see how that's just, yeah, like there. That'll be fine. This better still be 3 inches. Yeah, it's 3 inches. Okay, so that'll go to there. And I have a little bit extra for some reason, even though you guys saw what I did, and I cut it where I thought, but, you know, whatever. I'm going to put this right here. I'm centering it. I'm going to tape it down on this side. This is all going to get cut off. I'm not being real picky as far as this. I don't care if it's actually 6 inches wide. And the reason I'll tell you is because we are going to cut this off. And then I'm going to mat and layer inside of this area. So whatever this does, doesn't really matter. I just want to make sure that we're able to put it in an envelope without having to make our own envelope and all that kind of stuff. So, or anything special. So there's that. And this is 6 inches wide, right? We cut it at 6 inches, so it's 6 inches wide. So what's going to happen is you are going to need to put something, you know, this can go in the Empress. This can go, I think, in the Gemini Junior, right? There's so much stuff in front of here, I can't. I think it'll go in there. Oh, you know what? Let me just get a plate. Yeesh, it's right on there. I don't know. I suppose, yeah, if you wanted to do it this way, you could. I don't want to mess this up or make it look funky or wonky. If you have a new plate that you can run through, this will be just fine. It'll go through there. But what I'm trying to say is, like, this is how it's all damaged, and put the other one. It's probably going to put marks all over your paper. So just want to give you an idea of the sizing on that. I'm going to put it through my tangerine, so not to worry. I don't feel like turning on an electric machine. I'm just going to open this back up, and I'm actually just going to run this part, so I'll show you. So that way it doesn't get too damaged, because it does, you know, it'll, you know, the impression that it makes and all that. So I'm just going to run it like this. Just leave this hanging out. And it's going to take a second, because we're going to scroll before we get to where we need to be. Keep scrolling, keep turning. Little resistance, very little resistance, and there we go. That's my stool you hear making noise, not the thing. But see, this is what I'm saying. This is why you just want to be careful, because your paper, it gets a little, you can get a little funky when you run it through a machine, because of the die where it's pushing and all that kind of stuff. Ooh, okay. I was gonna say this should just come right off. Oop, that's a little bit off there. Okay. So part of our work is done now. I'm going to clean this out, and basically we're going to have it like this. Okay? I'll be right back. So it's a bit of a dead space in the very center here. And so all I did was place it back down carefully. That's why I got a little bit more lines. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to mat it anyway. And then I put an extra piece of cardstock on top of that area and ran it through again to give more pressure. And just right here. Kind of weird. Look how much pressure. Oh, wow. Actually, that's pretty cool. Well, anyway. All right. So, really, this piece in here should be 6 by 3, right? Because we did 6 and then we scored it at 3 inches. But, you know, who knows? Let's see. Yep, 3 inches by 6, just about. So what I'm going to do is take this guy. And we can leave that inside part beige so you can write your sentiment, but the example I think that I saw in Craft Stash, it looked like it was decorated both inside and out the same way as far as everything, you know, the layering and the everything it had going on. So funny is that I don't really care which colors of this I use. I'm just going to pull some out, but what happens is, I don't know if you can see in the front, they're showing you the colors that are in the pack, and if you pull these papers out, they're like half and quarter papers. They're not counted in the paper count, but you can definitely use them, right? So I'm trying to get this out carefully. Actually, not carefully enough. Ugh, they're getting all messed up. Hold on. So all these little pieces aren't included in the 18 piece, but you can definitely use them. I would love that with the Crafts Companion papers that are like that, because I think that's really cool. It's a nice thing to do. So let's think. Do I want shiny? yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna cut 2 of these that are, do I want to fill the whole thing up 3 by 6? Okay, let's not do 3 by 6. I'm going to do 2 and 7/8 by 5 and 7/8, and I need 2 of them that way, okay? I'll be right back. If I'm actually measuring this, I'm going more like 15/16. I'm making it just smaller than the 3, just smaller than the 6. So instead of 7/8, I probably did 16ths, so as you can see. And then on top of that, they had the darker colors, so since we have this one here, I'll just use this one. And to make these both the same, I'm going to mat it into what we just did. So I'm cutting them both the same height, but you can cut them both, you know, however you want. But kind of in the height, you can then get the 2 widths off of that. So again, I want to make it a little bit smaller. I'm doing 5 and like, oh my gosh. What is that? 14/16 or something? Well, that would be 7/8, wouldn't it? No, it's not 7/8. It's smaller than that. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger than 5 3/4, let's say. Okay. Again, this is whatever you want. This is the way I like to mat. And then this one again, just a little bit bigger than 2 3/4. And same thing for this one. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that leaves like a little burgundy around the edges. Again, if you want to gut this, or if you want to make this smaller so you see more of that pearlescent, you know, whatever it is that you want to do. And then from here, they put some of that pretty paper. So let me put this back up. And did I open this paper pack? I did. Okay. Oh, everything in here is just so pretty. I mean, you can, you know, I can even put this horse face there if I want to be part of the design and what's going on, or just the backgrounds. You can put this house, the beautiful flowers. I mean, the backgrounds, of course, the back side of these things are also very pretty. Oh, I kind of want to use this one. Again, they're gorgeous on both sides. But for this one, I kind of like this side. Yes, I think so. Okay, let's use this side. And this is 12 by 12 paper, so what I'm going to do is... Where were we at here? We were like 2 and something weird, 3/4. So let's go 2 and... I don't know. The other one was just right here. We're going to take it in. Let's do this one. 2 and 5/8 it looks like. And then the height is going to be... Where do we put the other one? I didn't really make numbers, remember? I did just over 3/4. So if we take away 1, 2 from there, it's just over 2 and... I'm sorry, 5 and a half, basically. Let's see how that looks. That looks pretty good. Okay, and this one I want the flower to show up, so definitely using the flower part. Those the same? These are the same. Okay, let me clean up. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry guys, it was just I was making these up on the fly and I wasn't really paying attention, and then like some were 16ths and some were 8ths, so like, you know, if we're looking at this one is almost 3, which is really weird, but it's 2 and 7/8 by, it should be 5 and 7/8, but it's a little bit bigger than that. Okay, and then this one is 5 and like 1, 2, 3, 13/16 by 2 and 13/16. And then this one is, again, I'm just making these up, 2 and 5/8 it looks like. It should be by 5 and 5/8, but I think I messed that one up a little bit. I made it a little bit smaller, like, let me see, 9/16 or something. Hopefully that helps. Okay, we're gonna layer these up. My only question is, I don't know, and this one I think I'm gonna layer up this way. So let's just start with this one, and then we'll see what goes with the inside one. And then I'm just gonna pick out some flowers from my kit, sticker kit, and a sentiment. I suppose if you wanted to, you can even put Anna Griffin's sentiment, but I do want to stamp something from this set just to bring it back to this set. So, I have that guy. Well, I should use my ATG to be easy. And this texture paper is really textured on both sides. Like, it's pretty textured. I don't know if you can see that, but this is the front side of it. It's even more textured. And then with like the tonic paper, it's a little bit flatter on the back side, so you can stamp on it if you want. This one, you can definitely still stamp. You would probably have to use a stamp positioner just so you can get it, you know, a couple stamps at it. You know, this one's obviously a dark paper too. Oh, I was gonna say, ooh, embossing, but I'm gonna cover this up, but that embossing folder would be nice. It's just a strip. I don't think this kit had a larger embossing folder than just that strip of embossing. Okay. That's an interesting paper. I want this one for the inside. But, I mean, if you wanted to put the flower out here, however. Ooh, look at this side. It's all pretty. Oh, man. Okay, I'll still go with what I was looking at. Inking, all those different things that take your, you know, projects up another notch. Definitely go for it. I was even going to pull some of the lace that I had from Michael's. Do you guys remember those bundles of lace I recently picked up? And a lot of you guys have said you went to Michael's and found them, and they're really pretty. And I love it because they smell like textiles, like fabric. Love that scent. Okay, so that's how I layered that up. And I'm basically going to do the same thing for this inside one. I just kind of wanted to see what was going on out here. I'm probably going to tuck it in so you don't see it, because if I saw on the edge here, it'd be kind of weird, right? I don't know. So I'm going to put it right here. Same thing, layer it up just like I did on the front, okay? I'll be right back and do that. And you know, this is light enough that you can still write on this if you're just going to write whatever sentiment. You can definitely do that. Or I guess by that time it's a message, not really a sentiment. I'm trying to get the rest of those little things off of the back there. So it's very sturdy over here because we have 6 layers. Actually, we have 8 layers of paper. And then over here we have this little prettiness. But that's really nice. Okay. And then, let's see. Should I start playing with these? And then we'll see what we have as far as sentiments. Where is all my stuff? Where is... Oh, they're right here next to me. My goodness. Like, where is all this prettiness? You know, we have thank you so much. Just a note. For a special friend. Forever and always. Enjoy every moment. Especially for you. Garden gate. To a dear friend. With love from me to you. You're in my thoughts. Oh. Let's do thank you, just because. I mean, this is very pretty. It has a lot of things, and this is all acrylic stamps, and I always forget to mention that until I go to use them. As you can see, it just wants to come away because it's just they're acrylic stamps. With love from me to you. I think that'd be pretty. Ooh, look at this. I even have a piece that I can stamp on, but I'm not going to because, well, I guess I could. Huh? What's going on here? Looks like it's a little sideways like this. Do you see that? Is it just me? I could stamp on this and then back it up with some of that beige. I think maybe I'll do that. And then, let's see what we have in here. So funny, I saw this purple and I'm like, ooh, that's kind of why I was debating using this piece, because the purple doesn't really... Look at this. Oh my goodness. I don't know. This might work out. This might be serendipitous. Look at that, you guys. Not this peachy one, but let's say that purple one. I was thinking about using like the blush color ones, right? Because it feels like very much that kind of colorway in here. Oh my goodness. I know she does ones where there'll be an opposite one. If I had an opposite one to go here with that same, maybe. Alright, well, let me dig through these. Oh, it doesn't even have to be the same like this one. Well, I just said not that peachy one, but actually that's not bad. Let me dig through here and see what else I find that might work for me. Oh, this one has both those colors already. And I think we're good. Okay, I'll be right back. Not take long. I literally just went through these things. A couple. These are really pretty. I hope these are still available. They're probably not. But interesting. This one, I'm like, what is going on here? They were stuck together. Manufactured together. Look at that. I mean, right? Pretty, pretty. Okay, let's stamp this, and hopefully I don't mess it up. Because then I can just use this piece, and that'd be great. What I'm trying to say is that this stamp looks like it bent here. Like it needs to go this way. Do you see that? The to you and the love is like down this way. So I'm kind of debating if I should cut it, but I don't like to take a little pause because I dropped something and it sounded real loud. How about if we try to finagle it without cutting it? Now the only thing with that is that sometimes acrylic stamps don't really want to stay. Like I'll put it and then it's gonna pop open. So I'm gonna hold it down until I get it stamped and we'll see what happens. I'm gonna stamp in black, but I think it'd be really pretty stamped in brown. Okay, oh my goodness. I gotta work quick. Especially because I don't even know if this paper's straight. I just wanted to use it. Let's... And you know we have tons of label dies. That'd be really pretty to cut it with the label shape. Ah! W. W! Okay, let's fix that. Micron pen. And I'm gonna have to get real close because I can't see. I'm trying to keep the same... Look at that, you guys. Got it. Try to keep like the same width going. That looks like nothing even happened. Okay. Now if I have a die... Well, this is too close, you know what I'm saying? I think it's already too close. I'm not going to be able to find a die. I don't think that's going to fit that perfectly. But I do have this beige paper here. Oh, even have this beige paper where we have the little marks. But what I'm going to do is just trim this down as well as I can. I can see it's a little bit crooked, right? And then mat it over this beige paper. Now let's see if I can do this straight. I probably can not, but let's just pretend. It's not bad. How about this side? Not bad. What I want to see is this straight? It's hard for me to tell if this paper is straight. Maybe it's that Harlequin design. It looks pretty straight, huh? Like I can see on here and then here. Okay. Alright. Well then all I'm going to do is glue this down. And what I like to do with something like this is if I put glue, I'll put it to one area where I can kind of still manipulate it. Or you can measure it and then cut your paper. Let's do that. Let's do that. This is... if I cut this white paper down to 7/8 of an inch by 2 1/8, I think that'll be good. So let's see. The 7/8 part is always like the tricky because it's the tiny little fraction here. So 7/8 of an inch. Oh, you know what? Actually, let me see if that's what I want. I think I'm at 1 inch. Okay, I want a little bit bigger than 7/8. That paper itself is about a little bit smaller than 7/8. By 2 1/8 is what I said? 2 1/8 or so. Sometimes that's why I pause and come back because I know it's kind of a messy little thing to do, but look at that. Not bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put some glue, and then while it's still wet, we make sure we got this in the right spot. Sometimes I'll just tape that or glue it to this corner and then just cut around it and just, you know, fiddle with it until it's right. But this time I took a measurement. Sorry about that. So, yeah, so I'll just have that on there. I'm going to let that set up, okay? And I'll be right back. Hey guys, I cannot believe how, like, this is just... Yay! And what I love about this actually hanging off here is that I can just kind of, you know, this can go into that area, right? Because it'll look nicer even. So yeah, I think I'll put these pieces here. I will put that right there. So I'm going to glue that down. These stickers have stickiness. Oh, you know what? Not completely down because we don't want the whole edge to be gluey here. With love from me to you. This was actually very, very easy. And you know I don't do a lot of matte layering. That's very... Crafter's Companion to do, and I just don't normally do that, but I'm happy to do it today. Okay, let's get this guy down. So these are stickers. I'm going to rip off most of the stickers except for this piece that's sticking out. That's going to be hanging off the edge. I'm not pushing that down yet because I don't know exactly what I'm putting it. This guy can be, oh, okay, right in here. Again, not pushing it down quite yet. And then this guy, I think I want him dimensional. Even bigger than this, right? I should have brought this down a little bit, maybe. But again, we can turn this guy maybe this way. And this will be popped up right here, and then this guy. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to take the back off that because we are just going to give him some dimension. Some squeezy. Let me see here. Yay, 3D glue gel. Thank you, Lisa. It's nice and healthy. I didn't do anything fun with this one. I just closed it up and set it down next to me, and it's just fine. And like right in there. You guys. Okay. How gorgeous is that? And I suppose if you want to put another flower even on the inside over here, like I said, I was thinking about putting lace. You can add some ribbon. I love it. I think that's very pretty. It is very heavy with all that paper and the 3D glue gel and everything. I might reposition this one a little bit more this way, but other than that, so pretty. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully I gave you a little idea what to do. Again, I got that idea from an example on Craft Stash, so I'm sure somebody there at the Crafts Companion team clearly put that together. And thanks for the info. Alright guys, I'll see you at the next one. I'll have links for the different places there in the description box. Bye now.